Right, hey folks, Jack here from Peach Guitars. Welcome to a new video idea that I'm going to lay down here. Underdogs of the pedal world. So I'm going to take today 5 different pedal categories and provide to you a very viable alternative to some of the most popular pedals out there on the market. Some stuff that maybe you haven't considered before. But before I get into today's video, please like this video down below, comment with your thoughts as well, and make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Okay, so as I say, underdogs of the pedal world. I want to focus today on some pedals that don't get a lot of limelight, perhaps unjustifiably so in my opinion. I've picked out 5 pedals here from different pedal categories that I think do a very good job of providing an alternative take on what the category is typically defined by. So for example, I've laid out a reverb pedal, a delay pedal, a modulation, an overdrive, and then a fuzz / distortion here. Those are probably the most popular 5 categories of pedals that everyone looks to add to their pedal board at some stage or another. And as I say, I'm going to provide you with some very worthy alternatives, some stuff that you might not have seen or heard before, and it might just convince you that there's definitely a slot on your pedal board that needs filling with something that you hadn't even thought of before. Typically those categories are dwarfed by the giants of the game. You know, overdrive pedals, what do you look at? You look at tube screamers and clones, and there's not often a lot of consideration for some of the underdogs, if you like, the stuff that just doesn't get talked about that much, but actually provides a very similar service, but actually, with the right choice for your pedal board, could take you in a totally different tonal direction that you didn't anticipate. You know, this is a literal introduction to this idea, so I've just picked out 5 of my personal favourite alternative underdog pedals in each of those categories. In future videos though, I'm actually going to break each of these categories down and show you 5 distinctly different reverb, delay, modulation, overdrive and fuzz or distortion pedals in their own right. So we'll get on to further comparisons in the future, and there'll also be a little bit of an interactive element where I want you guys to pick your favourites of the bunch. But for today, this is an overview of those 5 categories, and I hope you're going to enjoy the tones that I've pulled out for you. So starting from left to right, I've got a spring reverb in the form of the cattle-inbred Topanga. This is a great reverb pedal, and I wanted to include something that is naturally sort of springy sounding, quite natural to an amp tone. Perhaps if you've got an amp that doesn't feature reverb and you're looking to fill a spot on your pedal board with something that provides that Fender style spring reverb, the Topanga I think is a great shout. We all know and love the Strymon Flint and various other pedals that excel in the world of reverb and maybe do some other things as well, but I think if you just want a great sounding reverb that sounds like it's built into your amplifier, the Topanga is a great choice. So what you're going to hear, I'm just going to dial through a few of the controls. Very helpfully, in fact, this has got not only a mix control, or standard level control on a reverb, but it's also got an output volume. So if you want to treat this like those old school tube reverb tanks, you can actually use this to get a little bit more drive from your amp by upping the volume control above unity gain. So a very useful pedal, and I think it sounds really nice into this Dr. Z Maz amplifier set completely dry with no reverb on board. Everything you hear is coming from that pedal. Alright, so on to delay. Now this is kind of a much broader topic, I think. There's so many different types of delay pedals out there and everyone's got their favourite style, whether it be an analog style delay, a tape style delay, or more of a clean digital thing. There's plenty of options for any of those kind of tastes that you might have, but I wanted to pull out the DM2W from Boss, which is their reissue under the Wazacraft line of the 80s DM2 pedal. And actually, in today's world of analog pedals, there's so many different options that I actually think the originator, the DM2, and this modern recreation of it gets overlooked quite considerably. This is a very, very good analog delay. It's true analog, and you get up to 800 milliseconds of analog delay time. You also get some cool options like expression pedal control, but I just think that the core tone of this thing is great. It's actually quite a bit cleaner and clearer sounding than some other analog delays. I just don't think it quite gets the credit that it deserves in the field of other pedals like the MXR Carbon Copy and a bunch of other analog style delays. The originator is still one of the very best, so I hope you enjoy the clips of the DM2W that you got today. Alright, so modulation. This is once again a very broad field. I could have picked anything here, but my go-to is usually a chorus pedal, or in the case of the Blue Hippo from Way Huge that I've picked out today, chorus and vibrato, which is basically the same effect. Vibrato is just literally the wet signal by itself. Chorus is a mix of the wet and dry signals. So you've got the choice of both on this pedal. It's very small, which makes it very pedal board friendly, and you've got a whole really nice musical range of not only chorus rates, but also the depths of the chorus that this will do. So you can take this anywhere from a very shimmery 80s Boss CE2 style chorus. Once you get to around 11 o'clock on the dial, it's got quite a fast chorus rate. And then beyond that point, it will do the faux Leslie speaker type thing. It will also go to a much further extreme if you crank this up. And the vibrato on this pedal sounds really nice. It adds quite a lot of warmth to the tone. So even if you want to use it as an always-on type pedal, this is just one of the best compact all-in-one modulation boxes that I could think of. Alright, so overdrive pedals. As I said before, it's kind of a little bit of a grey area here because there's so many different drive circuits. Everyone's got their favourites once again. But I wanted to try and break away from the norm of the tube screamers and the mid-range focused drive pedals that most people will associate with that term. I'm sure most people own a pedal of that sort, so maybe you haven't considered something that's also green in colour but actually sounds nothing like a tube screamer. This is the ODR Mini from Nobles, which I think is just one of the best sort of amp sounding drive pedals that I've ever heard. It's really nice in terms of just taking a clean amp and making it sound like you've turned it up more and distorted it naturally. It doesn't kind of cross over into higher gain distortion territory, but there is quite a bit of drive available, as you'll hear. But I think this excels at just being a very amp-like, natural sounding, dynamic overdrive pedal. Yes, it's green, but it doesn't sound anything like a tube screamer, and being the mini version of this pedal, it's definitely going to earn its place on your pedal board quite comfortably. If you've got a little gap in there that you need to fill, an overdrive pedal of this sort will certainly do a very good job of filling it for you. Alright, so lastly, I want to touch on the sort of fuzz / distortion category, which again is quite broad, but I've narrowed it down to the J-Rocket Hooligan pedal, which I've played this a couple of times and I really like the way this responds. It's quite a versatile pedal actually, so it's neither just a straight out and out fuzz, nor is it a straight out and out distortion. It kind of blurs the lines quite nicely. You've got this interesting control called gunk, where when you bring this up, it kind of adds in some more of those kind of messy, fuzzy artifacts that some of the best fuzz pedals of all time are known for, but you can easily dial it out and treat it more like just a nice fat sounding distortion. So it's a very nice pedal to occupy this spot, and I think if you're looking for something that isn't necessarily kind of a classic sounding fuzz but also isn't a modern high gain distortion, this is a great option for that once again. So I'm playing all these pedals today with a Fender 70th anniversary broadcaster guitar, and I'm plugging it all into a Dr. Z Maz 18 amp. It does have reverb on the amp, but I'm not using it. All the reverb you're going to hear is from the Topanga. And I kind of think this is actually a very nice little board. I've kind of covered a bunch of different categories quite broadly, as I've said, so there's something for basically every kind of tone here. And all 5 of these pedals actually work really nicely together. I'm not necessarily going to stack them all on at the same time, but there's certainly some stacking capability here if you want to do that, particularly with the effect side of the board. And then I've kind of got all the gain stages covered as well with these 2 pedals. So I hope you enjoy what these 5 pedals sound like. I hope you give a little bit of love to some of the underdogs of the pedal world. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like down below and comment with your thoughts on this fine little 5-pedal setup. I hope you enjoy what these 5 pedals sound like. I hope you give a little bit of love to some of the underdogs of the pedal world. And if you want to find out any more information about any of these pedals, or indeed any other pedals that we stock at the shop, click the link in the description below and head to peachguitars.com. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.